Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. We already started, but I'm gonna summarize the 5 minutes I talked before we get the video on. Again, the name of the book is the 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And again, we try to connect this to Islam and to Islamic guidelines. And we talk about the first habit, which is be proactive. Be proactive. Take initiative. Be responsible. This is mainly about taking responsibility of your life. This is mainly about not blaming on things that's usually outside your control. Weather is bad today, so everything is going to be blamed on the weather. Circumstances around you, your destiny, the genetics of your family, so many things that you will not fail to find. Or the person who is reactive. We have a proactive person, we have a reactive person. The proactive person is not going to usually blame on others. He would usually take the responsibility of his or her choices, decisions. Because Allah made us entities, creatures who are able to make choices, right? We make choices. We talk about happiness as a choice. We make a choice to be happy. We make a choice to be sad. We make a choice to be successful. We make a choice to... One of the most important things that we make choices about is speaking. You make choice what to say when. That's a choice that you make. And so many of these things, even though this person, Stephen Covey, is non-Muslim, but we said that any believer is after hikmah. Hikmah tudalatul mu'min. This is the lost and found of any believer. You take it wherever it comes from. So let's see what did Allah say about that. Again, we said the first habit, we're going to probably talk about the first 2 habits of the highly effective people, only 2 for today. The first habit is about being, proactive. Be proactive. That means take the initiative. That means take responsibility. That means make choices in your life, don't blame on things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. Indeed, we, Allah, and He said we, always I say that, royal we, not the plural we. We guided him, the human being, as-sabil, the way. إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. And it's up to him to be grateful or to be, somebody who's denying. To go the right way, the wrong way. Everybody is guided. Allah gave everybody an equal opportunity, an equal chance of being guided. It's all on us and our choices that we go this way or that way. So a proactive person versus a reactive person. A proactive person will make choices, will take responsibility of those choices, will not blame usually outside things, will not usually be in the shoulders of others, depend on the successes of his parents, of his whatever is around him. He will be his own self. Yes, he or she will take a role model, but they will not be always in the circles of others. Since I love to talk about practical things, how could we practice this in our life in order for us to be proactive? Well, there's a little example for us, very little example. Let's try to focus on things that's within our hand, within our capacity, things that we are able to do. Like, for example, keeping our appointments. That's not to say anything. I kept repeating that the class started 6:30. It's now 6:45. People are still coming. Only 2 people were here at 6:30. No, that's a practical thing for us. Let's try to practice for the next 30 days, just as an example, you decide how to be in time. Is that within your capacity or not? It is. But many people would first of all think of the traffic, the kids, whatever. It's not only about class, it's about anything in your life. Meeting, deadlines or appointments or something. Let's be like for a certain amount of time, let's practice how to be proactive in life. How to have the upper hand on the things that's within our capacity. That is practicing being proactive, which is to work. We have 2 circles, the circle of influence and the circle of concern. The circle of influence, by this, he is referring to things that you can do, that you are able to do, that's under your control. the circle of concerns, some people will be always, have concerns about like blaming on outside things like the destiny, like the genetics, as we said, like things that are usually outside their capacity. Let's move from the circle of concerns to the circle of influence and the circle of taking responsibility. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran in a way that He's trying to help us build our character, build our own self, when He is telling us to take initiative, to compete, to go fast for good things. And He said, وَلِكُلِّ وُجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَلِّيهَا فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. Everybody has direction in life. For you believers, compete and vie with one another towards goodness. Shoot for goodness and go for it. Be proactive. In other words, Allah is saying to us, is telling us, be proactive. Focus on the things that you can do. Allah said, لَا يُكَلِّفُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا, which means Allah does not impose things on any soul that's outside its capacity. Allah doesn't do that. So anything that we are supposed to do, it's within our capacity, let's go for it. Let's take the initiative, let's do it. فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ, as Allah said in the Quran. And also the Prophet ﷺ told us, how to focus on little things, how to focus on things that's within the circle of influence, the circle of the things that we can do. When He said, for example, خُذُوا مِنَ الْعَمَلِ مَا تُطِيقُونَ, take of the action what you can afford. Some people can take so many good actions, but they cannot continue. They will not be able to continue like that. Here in Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Prophet, peace be upon him, is telling us, take what you can afford. Go easy, take it easy on yourself as far as doing good, so you continue. He said, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَمَنْ حَتَّى تَمَنُّ. Allah does not get bored of giving the reward until you get bored of making the actions. So Allah will always keep the reward continuous as long as you keep the action continuous. How to do? The Prophet ﷺ said in the beginning, take what you can afford. Take something easy, that's continuous, that you can do, be proactive about it, do it, make it a habit in your life, and here you go. You can doing that, you can change all of the bad habits in your life gradually. You can move from the circle of being a reactive person, which is the circle of concerns, usually judging others, usually blaming on external outside things. Let's move from this circle to the other circle, which is the ta'thir, or the influence, the circle of influence. That means you do what you can, you count on your choices, you make choices, and you count on those choices. And Al-Quran and Hadith, the guidelines that we have in Quran and in the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, always teaching us, ways to do that. It's not only telling us be proactive. It's teaching and training us how to be proactive in everything that we do and we say. We said, for example, one example of being proactive is to be in control of what you say. Is to learn in general. Is to learn how to say to yourself, no. You don't want to do that. You need to do that. You choose to do things in your life. So amongst what you choose is your words, what you say, because that shapes your, a lot of directions in your life is what you say. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us and give us a guideline in here, something to train us. إِن جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِنَبَإٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا. Allah said, if somebody who is fasiq, somebody who is like sinner or bad person, comes to us with a piece of news or something, you need to verify it before you judge based on that. So before you take an action or behave a certain way based on something, verify this thing first. Verify, especially if the source is not that authentic. You need to verify. You see the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us in so many hadith, for example, not to get angry, for example. He said, لا تغضب. Somebody asked him, give me a piece of advice that I will, most important thing. He said, do not get angry. 3 times. He asked him for the second time, for the third time, he kept telling him that. Because when you get angry, you will say things that you will definitely regret. You will do things that you will definitely regret. And it's not only that. He gave us the training, how to do that. He said, for example, when you are angry or something, if you are standing, sit down. If you are sitting down, maybe you need to lay down. That's in the hadith. Change the position, change the environment. Do not, you know, the conversation is leading you crazy right now. You're going to say something crazy. You're going to do something crazy. Move. Go away. Stop there. So Allah is training us, the Prophet ﷺ and Allah is training us to be proactive through guidelines and through actions. If we would take the guidelines of the Quran the right way. إذا غضب أحدكم وهو قائم فليجلس. If somebody amongst you, the Prophet, words of the Prophet, he said, if somebody of you got hungry while standing up, let him sit down. قال فإن ذهب عنه الغضب. If the hungry is gone, if the anger is gone, fine. وإلا فليضطجع. Otherwise, if he's still angry, let him lay down, change the position. He said in another hadith, إن الغضب من الشيطان. Anger is from shaitan, from the devil. وإن الشيطان خلق من النار. And devil is made out of fire. وإنما تطفأ النار بالماء. And fire is being extinguished by water. فإذا غضب أحدكم. If somebody of you got angry, let him make wudu. Because it's mainly from shaitan and you really feel like fire inside you, the face turns red and you got hot or something. And this is mainly from shaitan, from the devil. Go make wudu. Or change the position as we said. Or do not say anything. Because he said, لا يقضي القاضي حين يقضي وهو غضبان. A judge, when he is like emotionally, when he's angry somehow, he shouldn't give any judgment in this case. He gave us like a lot of guidelines to be calm, to be, set our priorities, to go for the things that we have to go for, especially those within our capacity. He told us, for example, as we are coming to prayer, to نأتي بالسكينة والوقار, to be in tranquility and peace, not running. So he is teaching us all of that. We have to ask ourselves this question all the time. Talking about your behavior. Are these behaviors based on your own choices and your own principles that you go by, or this is something that you just found yourself in there because of external circumstances, because of other people, affecting you? If you do not take the upper hand in your life, if you do not make your own choices, those choices are going to be made for you. And also Islam, in order to teach us how to be proactive, he taught us da'wah, for example. He taught us the religion, not only the religion of rituals. He taught us the religion of being proactive, of practicing the religion, of carrying it to others and calling others for it, of reflecting the principles of those deeds in our actions. That's what Islam is calling. That's what the Prophet ﷺ is calling us for. He called us to be, he invited us to invite others. Allah said, Ud'u, you call إِلَى سَبِيلِ رَبِّكَ, for the path, the way of your Lord, بِالْحِكْمَةِ, with wisdom, وَالْمَوْعِظَةِ الْحَسَنَةِ, and good admonition. So he's teaching a Muslim to practice this goodness in his life and to be proactive enough to take it to others as well. That's Allah Azza wa Jalla is teaching us how to be proactive. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself, he was very proactive. He was not staying, there and teaching the Sahaba, the companions, and then sending them right and left. They will do the job and he would watch them, supervise them. That was not the case. He was doing it himself. He was going after people in the season of Hajj. He was going to the tribes. He was traveling from city to city. He went to Al-Ta'if, southern Mecca. Then he traveled to Medina. He was doing the job himself, teaching others to do it, and also he was the first one to do the job. He was proactive. That is something that we need to practice in our life. And definitely you might have some thoughts about that, but let me share with you the second advice, the second habit. Again, we're talking about the 7 habits of the most effective people, and the first habit was be proactive. This is all Islam. Be proactive. Number 2, you have something? No, all right. Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. You need to have some kind of end vision. You need to think of goals. Why you say that? Why you do that? Like, what do you want to be? Usually, what do you want to be in the future? This is something that has to be there, because usually things will come first in your imagination. You will think of things before they come to life. Things did not come like this. You need to take the upper hand over those visions. You need to have visions in the beginning, or imagination, to imagine something, to have certain goals, build them in your mind, so you will bring them into existence. Again, all in the hands of Allah and all by the choice of Allah, but we have choices. Allah gave us this power to be able to make choices. Just as like any building, any nice building that you see, it didn't come just like this. We didn't go to the contractor, some contractors, and got them or something, and company, and tell them, well, go ahead and do it. Or they didn't come and just do, well, let's do a wall here, and then what's next? Another wall here. No, there is what first? A blueprint. There is like some kind of design. What do you want to do? You want a door from here? Or the direction of Qibla should be this way, whatever. So we have the plan in mind, and then we bring it to existence. Again, this is all about planning. Remember when I used to play this sprint, the track and field, especially for the 100 meter. You get in the start line, and then ready, set. When the ref says set, you have to look at the finish line. That's where you're looking at. You're looking at it, and then you go like boom, like a bullet to it. So you have to begin with the end first. So you will always have direction. Where are you going? Do not, because if you leave it like this, other choices of other people or circumstances will shape your life, will make goals for you, or will take you right and left. You don't want this to happen. And in order for us to practice this, whether this is happening in our life or not, and always if it's not happening, we can always fix things. Look back in your life. Everybody of us probably were asked this question, or we were thinking about it. What do you want to be when you grow up? And how many of those dreams, like that's the reality now? This is where you are. You always dream to be this, and is that the reality right now? How much of that did we achieve right now? And did we work for it in the first place? So we have to, in his words, I like the words of this guy, Stephen Covey. He said, if your ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step you take gets you to the wrong place faster. So you have to set everything right, goals are there, and then you have to be proactive in reaching those goals. So this is habit number 2. Actually, it should be number 1 or something. The goal should be clear in your mind, and then you should be proactive in reaching this goal. So this habit is based on imagination or envision. You need to envision, to have a vision for your life. The ability to envision in your mind what you cannot at present see with your eyes. So you will work and proactively work to bring it to existence. And definitely you need to think about good goals and good, put some good parameters in life. And the goal for a believer, usually the goals will vary. The goal of somebody, will vary from person to person. The goal of a Muslim, Allah said it for us, is to be and should be Jannah. This is the highest goal there. We may have some internal goals to be successful in life and gain money, but if you have the main goals clear in your mind, you will always attach everything to it. It's not bad to gain money. It's not bad to be successful, actually. All of these are good. But as long as you have a bigger goal in there, the bigger end is in there in your mind, you will try to subdue everything, to use all possible ways and all possible successes in life to take you up there. So he said one of the best ways to incorporate habit 2, which is I think one of those habits should be like not to sleep while whatever. It is to begin, say it in your words, you don't have to memorize this. Begin with the end in mind. Have goals in life. Set some goals for your life, some ends that you need to look at. So this is what you need to have. He said, one of the best ways to incorporate habit 2, which is to begin with the end in mind, into your life, in order for you to be able to do that in your life, is to develop a personal mission statement. I like this, a personal mission statement. What is it that you are about in your life? Because, we keep changing. 1 month we are looking for that, that's our goal. The other 6 months, she's always after this thing. A few years down the road, another thing. Jumping from area to area, place to place, and all of them should be good, or maybe good. Many of these things could be good, but you are wasting your time. You are wasting a lot of energy jumping from place to place without having a clear goal in your mind that you need to achieve. Personal mission statement. This is like a goal. This is like a title for what you want to achieve. Now, how to connect this to Islam? I didn't even quote one hadith or ayah. I said that Islam always told us to have the goal as Al-Jannah. The Prophet ﷺ, in the middle of persecution in Mecca, 13 years, no signs whatsoever of success, of anything getting better. But in the middle of all of that, one of the companions came to complain to the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, ala tastansir lana, wouldn't you ask Allah for victory? To help us, to aid us? Maybe this is happening to some Muslims nowadays in the middle of all of that, seeing all of that. But the Prophet, he got angry. The hadith said his face turned like red. He was angry at this person. He said, قَدْ كَانَ مَنْ قَبْلَكُمْ يُؤْخَذُ الرَّجُلُ. People before you, previous nations, a man used to be taken, and a ditch or something, like they would dig something for him in the land, in the ground. فَيُجْعَلْ فِيهَا, and they would put him in this kind of natural ditch there. فَيُجَاءُ بِالْمِنْشَارِ, they would bring a saw. فَيُوضَعُ عَلَى رَأْسِهِ, and he would put in his head, and he would be, split into two. They would sew him. This is how some people, put persecution and other, because of principle, because of disagreement whatsoever. He said, he is giving us like a very horrible example, and then he said, وَيُوشَكُ بِأَمْشَاطِ الْحَدِيدِ بَيْنَ لَحْمِهِ وَعَظْمِهِ, so different ways of torture. قال فما يصرفه ذلك عن ديني, and that does not take him away even an inch from his deen, from his goal, from his mission. So he's telling them that قال والله, and then he said والله ليتمنى الله هذا الأمر أو ليتمنى هذا, by Allah, this issue, this religion that we are on, Allah will complete it. Allah will bring it into a full, complete form. He's telling them that this is going to continue. And he's saying that in the middle of all the challenges that's facing the da'wah at this time. Why he's saying that? He has a vision. He is looking at the goal. The goal is there. He is working for it. In the middle of all difficulties, he is still having the faith, and the goal is so clear in his mind. He said, وَلَكِنَّكُمْ تَسْتَعْجِلُونَ, but you are in a hurry. You just want things come fast. Many times, we have the goal clear. We are proactive in order for us to reach this goal, but we do not take the challenge until the end. We are not patient enough. We work until it's halfway or something, and then we lose hope. No, you need to have the vision. You need to have the goal as clear as possible in your mind, so you keep doing the good thing in order for you to reach this goal. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is teaching the Sahaba this in the middle of all of that, to put the priorities, to look at the goal, and to work proactively to reach those goals. Those goals, we need to choose them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, amongst what He will hold us accountable for, is those parameters in your life, those things that you choose to live for. Many people put their goal as money, and they live and die for money. So Allah will hold us accountable for that. You need to check everything, because Allah created you separately, as a separate human being. Even the norms of your society. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala criticized people in the Quran when He said, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ تَعَالَوْا إِلَى مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ وَإِلَى الرَّسُولِ قَالُوا حَسْبُنَا مَا وَجَدْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَاءَنَا أَوَلَوْ كَانَ آبَاؤُهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَهْتَدُونَ. The translation is, He's talking about, Allah is criticizing a group of people the disbelievers, he said, when they are told to come forth for what Allah has revealed, and to the messenger, they would say, sufficient, enough for us, what we found our forefathers on. Like we go by our norms, we go by the culture, the society, whatever. Allah said, أَوَلَوْ كَانَ آبَاؤُهُمْ, even though their forefathers, their parents, their community, their society, he said their forefathers, لَا يَعْلَمُونَ شَيْئًا, they don't know nothing, and they are not guided. So it's not only because your friends do that, or your community do that, or people do that it should be good. Allah give you a mind. Allah give you, the power of intellect, of looking at things and deciding and choosing for yourself. And you should choose the right thing. Do not be affected by any external thing, and use this power that Allah give you, and use also the guidance that Allah made available for you. So make the goals so clear in your mind. Check those goals. Do not be just like everybody. Yes, what's your goal? Usually we ask young people, usually it's not so clear in their mind. They will go by the first thing whatever the first person or the first couple of people would say, they will go by that. Yes, I want to be this, I want to be that. Do you really want to be that? Or is it because that's what everybody is looking at, and this is what usually people this age would look at? And subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is drawing our attention. He said, وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ, and say, work. Because Allah, His Messenger, and the believers will see your work. Will see your work. That's going to be submitted to Allah, and in the day of judgment, everybody will see that, good or bad. And it's definitely, if it's good, you'll be proud with that. If it's not, you will not be proud with that. So Allah is teaching us to look at the goals and the actions, the goals and the means to reach these goals. And He said, work, because Allah will see this action. Like, say for example, if I tell you, write an article that's going to be published in the local news or something. That's going to be published in the New York Times. It's going to be seen by some important people. You will do your best, it's going to be seen. But if you're writing something for yourself, you will probably not care much for the punctuation, whatever. You will just write what you want. But if it's going to be seen, especially if it's going to be seen by some good people who have critique or something, or it can be, it's going to be something to represent you, you will take care of it. Allah is telling us here, اعملوا, work. Because Allah, His Messenger, and the believers, they all see it. They will all see that. وَسَتُرَدُّونَ إِلَى عَالِمِ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ فَيُنَبِّئُكُم. You will go back to the knower, the one who knows al-ghayb, the unseen, وَالشَّهَادَةِ, and the reality, or the what's open to people. فَيُنَبِّئُكُم بِمَا كُنتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ, and He will tell you about what He used to do. So this is something for us to think on. Also, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is teaching us to look at goals and always stick to those goals and not letting them disappear from your mind. You see that when he was in the battle, second battle with the non-believers. First battle that they won, Ma'arakat Badr. Second battle, Uhud, they won at the beginning, but because of some mistakes from the some parts from the Muslim army not taking the words of the Prophet, the leader. And then they ended up losing, and the Prophet ﷺ ended up having very bad injuries in his face. He lost all of his teeth, or it was broken, and many other injuries happened to him. And he started, as he was bleeding all over, he raised his hand. The Sahaba, the companions, what do you think in the middle of that? What would he say, sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
God forgive them.
Huh?
I'll say probably he said, God forgive them. They didn't know.
That's what he said, because that's what he said. But in the middle of that, usually any normal person, those people, they came, they did all bad things. He will ask Allah to destroy them. But no, what's his goal? What's his goal coming to those people? Is he coming to destroy them? Or he coming to save them? He came to save them, right? That goal was so clear in his mind. I'm coming not to destroy them, because if we make dua against them now, those people will probably be punished, and where are they going to end up? In the hellfire. And that's against his goal. He doesn't want this to happen. He was working for his goal, even in the middle of circumstances and everything would say that you make dua against them. Those are the worst people, but I'm coming to save them. I'm not coming to save good people only, I'm coming to save everybody. His goal was so clear in his mind. Not only one time. He said, Allahumma ghfir liqawmi فإنهم لا يعلمون. Oh Allah, forgive my people. And he called them his people. They don't know, because they don't know. It happened when? Now? Allahumma hdi qawmi فإنهم لا يعلمون. He said, oh Allah, guide them because they don't know. It happened another time actually before that. Because it was when he sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to At-Ta'if, the other city. And he found to, try to call them to Islam. And it was even worse than Mecca. It was worse. People stone him, throw him with stones and stuff. And again, in his way back, he was making the dua to Allah, complaining the very weak state he got to and his situation. He left his city, nobody's accepting him in there. He got to At-Ta'if, another city, nobody's accepting him. Why is this happening? And he was saying, oh Allah, all of that is happening to me. You see everything. I complain to you my weakness. And he was saying, well, in this very moment, Allah sent Jibreel, the angel, and he told him, Allah has heard and listened to what happened to you and saw what happened to you and saw what you said to those people and he saw your reply, they replied to you. And here, coming with me, the angel responsible for the mountains. And if you want Allah, you can order him and he will give the two mountains and crush them in between the two mountains. And again, what did the Prophet ﷺ say? Those are his enemies who got him out of this city and everything. He said no. And again, what did he say? He is looking at the goal. He said, no, I hope that Allah will bring out of these people, even if they are bad, Allah will bring from them, from the lineage or from the people who will worship Him. So again, he was what? He was looking at a certain goal. The end is so clear in his mind. I am coming to guide these people, to save these people, and he didn't want to go right or left, even under the pressure of all of these challenges in his way. He did not move even an inch from his track, alayhi salatu wassalam. Those are a couple of the two of the 7 most habits of the highly effective people. We continue, inshallah, with other habits next time. Again, to summarize, we talked today about the first of the 7 habits, العادات السبع للنجاح أو للتأثير في الحياة. العادة الأولى هي عادة الأولويات أو المبادرة أو التسابق, which is to be proactive. This is number 1. Habit 1 is al-mubadara, being proactive, taking responsibility of your life, taking over your life, making, not blaming things on others. Use what Allah, the capability that Allah give you to achieve the possible ways that you can achieve. That's 1. Number 2 is start or begin with the end in mind. Have goals for your life and have them so clear all along the way, because that's going to make, the challenges that come your way, it will make it easy for you to overcome and to get over them. And we quoted a lot of guidelines from the Quran and Hadith to teach us how Islam is teaching us to be proactive and to focus on the goals. Well, now inshallah, if you have anything to add in a few minutes or questions or something, we can take that inshallah. And let's be proactive. Again, if you did not set the goal yet, let's start setting it. It's the effective people will always have the goal so clear in their mind. When you meet some of those people, you will know. Sister such and such is all about that. I mean, when you mention her name, you will remember that da'wah or fashion or whatever it could be. Because that's what she's always about. She always talks about this, she's always busy with that. I mean, it's good to be focused in one direction. So are we, when our name is mentioned or something, what is it going to be like? Like, try to imagine if the imam, if your teacher, anybody who knows you, if your parents, friends, anybody, if, try to imagine, may Allah protect us and save us, like, but I'm trying to think of a better example. If I die, for example, what my wife is going to write about me, what my friends are going to say about me. Because if you imagine that will give you an idea of who you are. And based on that, you can change. You can leave a good impression on others. You can set a good example for others instead of just like following all along. You can set good examples. You can see who you are in the eyes of others. طيب. Anything before we make the dua? Alright. I guess that was a little bit heavy enough for you to probably digest over the next week. And we continue, inshallah, next week with the rest, maybe a couple more habits of highly effective people, inshallah. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Oh Allah, give us the benefit of what we heard and give us practice in life, Ya Rabbil Alameen. اجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. Make us amongst those who hear the talk of the speech and we follow the best of it. Oh Allah, give us guidance, direction in life, make us proactive, make us focus on our goals and be busy with ourselves and not to be diverted with anything else that's not important for us in this life or in the hereafter. Make our main goal in life is to get to Al-Jannah and to get to the heaven, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam.